difference a day makes. Today I can actually take my pots out. Oh, the Instant Pots. The other version of Instant Pots. Of flowers. Yeah. Ooh, yesterday it was snowing. I mean, the deck in the shaded areas is still wet with a little bit of not yet defrosted ice. Anyway, welcome to a little back deck chat. I've been thinking so much about a lot of different things lately. Today's work, I did a class this morning on pain and the mast cell mediation aspect of it and how chronic pain can be related to mast cell. It was fascinating. It was such a great, it's a talk I did with my colleague Tracy over at Histamine Haven. And I'm just more and more aware that, God, we need to get this book out. Anyway, we're working on it, just so you know. But this afternoon, I've been working on putting together the Eating with the Seasons next class. And it does, I always feel like every day I wake up and I'm like, ooh, things are heavy. Like, this is going to let up soon, right? Like, it can't get worse. And then the next day I wake up, I'm like, ooh, it's heavier than yesterday. Like, can it continue on this pace? And I've had a lot of, I've been thinking a lot, and I've been very much on purpose, actually, trying to really take my weekends to unplug. To really not be checking in with a lot of things as a mental health saver, and as creating a space to think, and as creating a space to philosophize in my own mind, like to sort of think about things and imagine things. Like, I need that space. Does anybody else feel that? Hi, Catherine. Oh, hi, darling. Nice to see you, Kathy. Does anybody else have that feeling where, like, you really need to create that time and space to give yourself enough space to think, to process things, and to make sense of things, or to make observations? Anybody else? Hi, Carrie. Anyway, so I really did that this weekend, and I was chatting with my mom, and I said this in a class last week, actually, and I've really been thinking about it, and it just hit me again. I took 5 minutes to take a bit of a break as I'm building content. And I thought, I just want to go see what people are posting, because I like to do it just like everybody else. And there's all these posts on, there's a lot of virtue signaling. I do a lot of it myself, I'm sure, and I don't even know. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Who cares? Do you need to label it? Is anything black and white? No, it's not. Anyway. And I've been thinking about this whole, we're feeling all the feels. And every day for me, I don't know if this is true for you. Tell me if it is. It feels like we're supposed to feel some more than we did yesterday. Oh, and how's your capacity today? Can you hold more? Can you feel more? Can you do more? Can you be more worried? Can you be more fearful? Can you be more loving? Can you do more? Can you be more? And I'm really... There's a social media account out there, Nap Ministry, the Nap Ministry, and the woman who's behind the Nap Ministry. P.S. Go follow the Nap Ministry. She is a woman of color, a black woman based in the States. I'm not even sure where she is. She just took 2-month hiatus and she just got back. I was like, oh, good. Oh, good. A little bit of hope, a little bit of good coming back on the social media. Please, I need you for clarity and things that she thinks about, because her observations are amazing, and they just have a way of planting seeds for me to, personally, just for me to think, and it may resonate with you, especially if you're following me, because I think it'll resonate for you too. Anyway, she was talking about nap as a form of resistance. These are not my words. These are her observations. I don't have the wherewithal to think about this and to imagine it. But her words, nap as a form of resistance, has really been driving a lot of ideas and thinking for me, as has a lot of the things that Rowan White is sharing. And I shared a post from Rowan White, who is a farmer based in the States. And Rowan, I think, is a part of some organizations that are looking into bringing and highlighting the Indigenous ways of farming that have always been the way and the way forward, and proposing that with an alliance that she's a part of in preserving the First Nations ways of farming and caring for the land and the agricultural practices of the First Nations, and honoring that, and really highlighting how important of a thing it is. So those two women have been talking so many interesting points that have just got me thinking. And I am so grateful for this. And I hope that in thinking, I am never the person who can just jump in conversation right away. I have to go away and think about it and come back. So if that's you too, that's okay. But if ever, like, joining conversation, I think is going to be part of our way forward. But some of the things that I've been thinking about, I'm circling around this, aren't I? Things I talked about in a class last week, things I talked about with my mom last weekend on the phone, and things I've been thinking about based on the Nat Ministry and some of the things that Rowan White has been saying, and about how, like, we are, right now we're being asked to feel all the feels. We're being asked to have empathy for the entire world. And this is new. I want you to know that this is new. Okay? This is really, really new. This is so very 2021, right? It was never like this. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying this is new. Do you hear the cacophony behind me? That's not new. That's been going on for eons, thank God. But having this empathy and having these feels for all of these people all over the entire planet of the world is something new. This whole manipulating of emotions is also at the core of a lot of systems, patriarchal systems, purchasing systems, anywhere that somebody's trying to get you to buy something. I am not immune to it. I sell wares, I sell services. Of course I do. And yeah, I totally use these platforms to talk about what it is that I have on offer. But more than that, like, this whole capacity to feel, you were only ever wired to care for about 100, maybe 150 people in your village. We were wired to have empathy and feelings and care for, the people in our village. In my own neighborhood here in the Northwest, I have 10,000 people in just my part of the city, in just Silver Springs. 10,000 people. How am I supposed to care for 10,000 people? I don't know 10,000 people. There's 10,000 people in my neighborhood. I'm going to do what I can to make it a good community, yeah. I'm not going to get to know every 10,000 person's name. I don't have the capacity for that. I don't have the mental capacity to remember the names, let alone remember who's graduating when, having wedding celebrations, or people have passed, or all these things. I just want you to think about this for a minute. How much are we being asked to care and have deep empathy for? I'm not saying don't, but how could that be impacting how you feel and how you're moving through your day? And is there some of that is too overwhelming? Because I'll tell you a secret, it is for me. And in fact, I'm finding myself actually feeling paralyzed a lot these days, which is why I'm actually really working hard at creating clear boundaries for myself and not being on social media on the weekend as much as possible. And also not answering my clients 18 hours a day. Sorry, friends. I'll get to you within 12 hours, though, I promise. But anyway, we were never hardwired to have deep compassion for the entire world. But our actions, we can do with the intention of a small number of people and the people just in our circles. And if you do that part, and we trust that everybody else is going to do that part, now we're going to start creating that world where there will be empathy for everybody. So how do we do that? I don't know. But that's the part I feel really deeply about today. Like there's too much. There is too much. And when it's too much, I can sit here in the corner and lament my fate. I can also realize my privileges and feel terrible about my privileges, that I can do social distancing, that I can do, I can feed my family. I can, I'm not going to feel terrible about those things, and I'm not going to lament the fact that I have good skills to do those parts either. But I am going to where I'm going to put my efforts, I'm going to acknowledge that there is crap being thrown against the window everywhere. But you know where I can affect change is within the walls of this house. I can affect change within my small community, and I don't need to go any further, and nor do you. We have to stop this notion of bigger, better, more, because that comes from a colonial impact, a colonial way of moving through things. All of this is mine, and the more I take it, the more it's mine, and the more I take, the more it's going to, this is all mine, this needs to be mine. That's coming from a place of lack. Hey, white people, what are you lacking? Yeah, I'm saying white people. I'm totally doing that. Yes, because I'm in there. I am the person that comes from a lack of. I come from a long line of people who had so many hardships. And I know I'm not alone. And I know it's not just white people that come from people with hardships. That's not what I'm saying. My own personal story for me, which I can speak to, is this was people who didn't have food, who didn't have money, who didn't have a steady income, who had a lot of strife and a lot of anger through many generations. However that manifested in so many different ways. And while I have accumulated some of that story, I've also accumulated the wisdom of all the people who were also in the scenario, the women who cooked, the women who foraged. I come from a long line of women who foraged. My dad's mom would go out in the forest and she could tell you which plant was good for what. She died before I was born. I never got to know her. And I never even thought about her until I hit my 40s. Because she was just never in the picture. I just learned 2 weeks ago that my mom's dad's mom was Mi'kmaq. 100% Mi'kmaq. I had no idea. So if you're feeling yourself caught up and wondering, holy smacks, I am feared into the corner. If that's what's happening, get out of the corner. Get out of the corner because you're not doing any good in the corner. First, take a rest. And when you are looking for something, don't ask someone else for direction. Find it within yourself. I'll tell you where it is for me. All of a sudden, I'm realizing I need to actually learn about the Mi'kmaq people. I need to learn about foraging and learning about the plants in my area. And how can I become a better caretaker of this land where I am? You know, I'm here in Treaty 7 territory. And the saying is, we are all treaty people. Okay. You're not entire world citizens. You're a treaty person. What area do you come from? What area do you live on? Which area can you affect change? And stop going outwards for huge. That's not sustainable. We can't do it mentally, emotionally, physically, and our heart cannot contain that amount of huge. Bring it in, rein it in. And where can you start? Anyway, I'm not really saying anything except this is what I'm thinking about. We're being asked to do a lot. Thank you, Nap Ministry. Thank you, Rowan White. And thank you to the people who are starting discussions away from just masks and vaccines, because there's so much more to the conversation we can have. Yeah, I'm having a hard time, guys. Okay, I hope it's a sunny day where you are and you can take some time out on the back deck.